All right then, ladies and gents, let's get loose. So bringing your feet in under your hips, soft knees, opening the knees from the hips a little, tucking your bottom a lot, and a little squeeze of your bum to stabilise your hips. Pulling up through the crown of the head so you're nice and tall, and then just lifting up the arms and dropping them from the right up and then over to the left. So just looking for a little bit of rotation through the upper back. Letting that rotation flow through the neck. So you've got that feeling of pulling the crown of the head up to the ceiling the whole time. Chin slightly nodded in towards the throat, so it encourages more rotation and better alignment through the neck. You can start to lift the heels, pressing through the balls of the feet. But as you lift your heels, still try and get the knees just relaxed so they're not locking out as you rise. Slowly ease down, breathe out with a lift and a soft breath in as we come down. And once more each way. Stopping at your left. Take a wrap and a step and pull back into centre. So I want the shoulders and the arms just to relax, naturally wrap around the waist. And as you step across, try to get your hips square to the front. So if you push your left heel down into the floor as you step across, that should help keep the hips more square. You can go a little wider if it feels okay, so get more stretch into that left inner thigh. And two more across. Morning, Geraldine. And then staying across, squaring the hips and shoulders to the front, straightening both legs and letting the hips move over to the left. Pulling the left elbow gently up towards the ceiling and also lifting that left hip gently up towards the ceiling. And if you're going to deepen the stretch, reach the arm out to the side. And also try and keep length into your spine, so you're not collapsing down towards the thigh. Keeping the chest lifted. Little squeeze between the shoulder blades, and twice more there. And coming into your last one. Turning out your right foot to the side, bend your right knee, so it's over the heel, and your left foot slightly turns to the diagonal. Left hand down your thigh, take a side bend. Just gently easing your ribs away from your hips and almost straighten the leg. And again, just a little movement through the spine, breathing in. Now as you breathe out, slide your left hand down towards the knee. Feel the ribs lifting on your right hand side. And keeping the eye gaze forward, so let that movement also again come into the neck as you ease into that tip. And twice more. It's really nice for opening up the side of your body. Holding in centre. Turn both feet out to the diagonal, so we're going to come into a wide squat, opening up the knees, and then as you come into your squat, nice big lift of the arms, and adding again that rotation through the upper body. So we sit back into the hips. We gently press the knees out wide from the hips, so you can feel your outer thighs working. Maybe you feel a little stretch in your inner thighs as well. As you turn your upper body, try and let the knees roll. Keep squeezing out through the outer thighs and feel that nice movement through the spine. Shoulders are relaxed and the hands are just kind of level with your breastbone. And try and make sure the hips sit back rather than the knees dropping forwards. And just once more there. Opening the shoulder, squeezing the shoulder blade into the spine. And then holding up tall and stepping back into centre. Feet back into the hips, hands to your right hip and step across to the left. So push down with your right heel as you step across. That's going to help stop the hip rolling around to the left. So you think about the headlights, the hip bones. Keep them facing forwards. Nice and tall all the way up through the spine. Relaxed the arms and the shoulders. Taking the in breath as you stride across, and then using the out breath as you rise. Next time, staying across into our side bends. So squaring the hips to the front, left foot, slightly out, and into that side bend. Again, try and keep lifting your chest as you tip. Pulling the right elbow up so we get more stretch into the waist. And then you can start to reach that left arm further out to the side. Breathe out as you ease into that stretch. In through the nose as you rise, and breathe out as you tip. That's going to hopefully allow the muscles to relax a little more and maybe allow you to reach a little further. Still focused on lifting your right hip up towards the ceiling, so getting that nice stretch into the inner thighs. Hold it in centre. Turn your left foot, right foot to a diagonal, stack the knee, and almost pull your right hip back so the hips are more square to the front. Reach the arm over, and then almost straighten your front leg. Breathe out as you hinge, and a soft breath in to rise. So your right leg stays straight, you're pushing strongly down through that right heel. Again, try and use the out breath as you ease into the stretch. So you're relaxing with the out breath. Breathing in to rise. And again, breathe out with the tip. And twice more. Out through the mouth, in through your nose, and your last one here. Coming back into centre. Bringing the feet just a little bit narrower, so just outside your shoulders. Opening up the knees and sitting back into your squat. This time lifting the arms, circling them as you rise. Continuous movement. As soon as your hands come down, pull back into the hips. As soon as you hit the bottom of your squat, push out the heels. And again, breathing in, out on the way up, in through the nose, out through your mouth. Feel the knees are still gently open from the hips. Feel your bottom pushing back and almost stretching into your glutes. 2 to go. Nicely warm the shoulders up. And let's just release the hamstrings and then we're good to go. So feet at hip distance. Take a long stride forward, put the back heel down and square the hips. Roll the shoulders back and open up your chest and tip from the hips. So you're not trying to bring your chest all the way down to the floor. You're more focused on keeping a nice long spine. So when we tip, it's not the back we're bending, it's the bottom we're lifting. Gently lifting it up towards the ceiling. A little breath in as you ease to the centre. And again, breathing out into your hinge. Gentle squeeze down the front thigh, so again that leg stays straight as you hinge forward. And your last one here. Changing legs. So stepping back, left leg strides forward, back heel presses down, and then straighten up that front leg. Set your posture, and enjoy your little hip hinge. As they stretch down the back of those tight hamstrings. Mine are definitely feeling a little tight today. So I'm going to think about more lifting the bottom up and slightly pushing it back. And as I do that, I'm still pressing down through that front heel. And still keeping a squeeze between the shoulder blades. So I'm not changing the position of the spine as I hinge forwards. And once more. And then we're good to go. Step in and grab one weight. So we're going to alternate between squats and lunges. So we're going to start in a squat position and we're just going to work with the right leg moving. So we open the knees, weight down towards your thighs as you come into a squat. Step back to a lunge, hold here and add a press. So lower it between the knees as you squat. Keep your chest open and lifted and then into a press. So a little breath in. Breathe out, push out your left heel and push out your left heel again. So we want to really focus on pushing that left heel into the floor every time we move. And that's going to start to activate our glutes. Now as we step back into the lunge, try and keep your feet hip distance apart, don't go onto a tightrope. So you can still keep the knees open, especially your left knee here, keep it open from the hip. And again, a little breath in and breathing out to push. Twice more. And then we're going to add on. So come into your last one, stay with the overhead press. Stay here. Now we're going to tip forward, bring the weight to the knee, either to shoulder level or back above the head. We're breathing out to hinge forward, taking a breath in. And as we tip forward, that back leg lifts straight As we go down, the back knee bends. And if you prefer, you can always keep that back foot resting on the ground. So it's helping as a little stabiliser. But you're still feeling your weight shifting into that front heel. In breath. Breathe out, little brace through your core. In through the nose. I've got my balance. Breathe out through the mouth. And one last time. Hold in here. Lower the foot. Just pull in towards the belly. Now if you want to, you can step your knee forward as you pull the weight in. Notice you're not leaning too far towards the floor. Give a nice diagonal line through the upper body. And each time you pull that weight in, hold from the shoulder blades, right in towards the spine. Breathing out, into release. And just try not to let your weight shift backwards and forwards. So not putting any weight onto your right foot. For 3, 2, looking good. And hold. Set your foot about a foot's distance behind. Bring in the elbows. Let's move into triceps. So your elbows squeeze in. So they're lifting up to the ceiling and facing forward. Bottom is tucked. And then just easing towards the base of the neck. So you try and take the weight just below the crown of the head. You're trying to get your shoulder blades gently drawn down to the back of the rib cage. Belly button softly towards the spine. So again, the trunk of the body stays nice and still. We still got the weight in the left heel. We've not let our weight shift forward into the toes. And almost push down in your heel as you push it with the weight. 2 more. And then your last one. And let's come back to the centre. Don't think there's anybody here. Take your feet wide. Then we're going to come back into our squat. So we're going to work with the left leg moving, right leg doing the stabilising. So posture, sit into your squats. Knees are open. Step back to your lunge, hold, and just ease into a press. There's no rush. All about just trying to maintain nice technique as you move from one position to the other. Using it in breath, and then using it out breath. In through the nose as you sit back into your hips. Breathing out as you rise. And again, slowly. So we really think about where the weight is in that right leg. Try and let go on the toes, keeping the heel the whole time. And then slightly keep your knee open from your hip as you squat and as you lunge. That's going to help to bring more connection through your outer thighs, through your hips, and hopefully make you feel a lot stronger, a lot more grounded, she says, with your balance. Concentration helps too. As you go into that lunge, your shoulders all the way back above your hips. My step's a little narrower than it made me wobble. So again, try and get the feet hip distance as you stride back. And twice more here. Trying to feel that right thigh working as well as your right buttock. Staying at the back. Hold. Now again, back leg straightens, come down towards the thigh, lower back into your lunge. And again, an easier option is just a little bend into that back knee, a little tip forward, but don't let the back round as the weight comes down. We're trying to encourage strength and alignment through the upper back. So we want to resist the weight, pulling our shoulders out of position. So we move slowly, holding the shoulder blades towards each other and trying to hold them there as we tip forwards. So use the breath again. Breath in as you ease down. Breathe out as you ease forward. And again, you can just bend that back knee and then you can just simply straighten that back leg, keeping the toe down. Twice more. In through the nose, out through the mouth, and then this time holding at the front. So your back foot needs to come down. So you'll lighten your toe, you're going to pull your elbows in by the ribs, and then your option to step in and out. So notice I'm not moving backwards and forwards. Your bottom's pushed back, so the weight's into the bottom. And as you take your left foot back, try not to put any weight onto that left foot. And if you feel you're having to put weight on it, don't take it as far. If you feel you can then take it further, you start to straighten out the leg. And lift the front of the ribs slightly. Open up through the front of the shoulders. 3, 2, your last one. And the footsteps just behind, heels down. Tuck your bottom, set the shoulders, bring your weight to your collarbones, and you can either keep the heels down or lift that back heel and anchor again into your front heel, and then ease back in to your triceps. Just check the ribs out flaring, so ribs slightly drawn down at the front, and feel your elbows are staying lifted up to the ceilings, not dropping forwards as you lower the weight. Get the feeling of reaching back, and as you reach back, hopefully finding a mouth stretch down the back of the arms, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Squeezing and tucking your tail bottom to keep the hips nice and still. 2 more here, and your last one. And relax, just a little. Right, let's come to our side lunges. We're going to go bowling. So weight into your left hand with your palm facing to the side of the room. We're going to bring the weight towards the knee and bring it here to 90 degrees. Shoulder stays back. If your shoulder comes forward, your back will also flex. So if you hold the shoulder back and let the movement come from the shoulder joint, you're then again using the deeper muscles to maintain nice alignment through the spine. If you're feeling good for your balance, hold. We're going to come back into the triceps, foot down or lifted, extend behind, come up, and then bowl. So you hold here, tricep kick back to 90 degrees, and then stride across. So it's a nice flowing movement from one position. Again, you can tap here and just take it at your own pace. And as you're moving, you're trying to keep the left foot really grounded to the floor, especially here when you step across. Remember, if that shoulder comes forward, the back's going to come into this position. So thinking about the upper back as we move. 2 to go. A little in breath. The out breath on the extension. Breathing in. Out to pull. A little rest of your core. And hold. Step the feet wide. Weight stays in your left hand. Slide the hips over to the right. Open up the chest again. So your ear is directly in line with your shoulder. So if you draw the chin back a little and try and keep the ear in line with the shoulder as you come into your windmill. Left, right hand reaching up towards the ceiling. Now try and keep the weight directly down the side of your thigh. Again, if the weight comes forward, your back has to round. More can imagine that between 2 panes of glass, your ear, your shoulder, your hip, your knee and your ankle all stay aligned as you move. It's going to help to maintain nice alignment of the spine. And I want you to relax your left shoulder as you rise. Pull back up from your waist. Relax the shoulder, pull up from your waist. Now breathe in again. Breathe out with the rise. In through the nose. Relax the shoulder and breathe out through the mouth. 2 to go here. Slow and controlled, so there's no momentum. And we're ready for doing the work, the waist doing the lifting. And you can hold. Take it to your right hand. Out to the side lunge. Shoulders back. The first thing you're going to do is tuck your right shoulder blade into the spine. Set your posture. Hinge forward from the hips. Keep that shoulder back and back to here. So lock the shoulder back first. And let your weight slide across, but keep your right foot firm on the ground. Breathe in. You can use your left arm to counterbalance. You might want to hold it onto the hip, whichever feels best, especially as we come in to some balance. Try and keep the knees hip distance apart here. Mine tends to always want to come across. So again, stop it in line with the hip. Then we add on. Hold. Tricep kick back. Squeeze the back of the arm. Come back to 90 degrees, then stride across. Option to tap. Tap back as you hinge forward. Tap to centre and across. Again, moving slowly, so we're very aware of what's happening with the upper body. As much as we're focusing on the leg movements, we want to be able to move with the legs and still keep nice alignment through the spine. Push back into your toes. Knee just below hip. Breathe in. Squeeze the back of the arm as you extend. 2 to go. Further across if you can into the hips. Nice squeeze into the bottom as you extend the leg behind. And your last one. Shoulders, triceps. Well worked. Now step wide. Left foot forward, right foot slight diagonal. You can take it wider if you want to. Push the hip across, leave it there, and roll your shoulder. Relax the right. Breathe in, keep the shoulder relaxed. Breathe out, slide the ribs back to the hips. So if your hips move, that means you're using your inner thighs to pull the pelvis back into centre. And it stops these muscles here having to work as hard. So the more you can focus on keeping the legs still, keeping the hip pushed over to the left as you rise. Relaxing again your right shoulder. Breathing out through the mouth on the way up. Chin still nodded in, so ears, shoulders, ankles, knees, hips, all in that perfectly aligned position. Keep pushing that hip firmly over to the left. Then pull the ribs back towards the hips. I do like this one. Now don't use the shoulder to help you rise. You don't want the shoulder to lift the weight up. It will want to. Try and let it hang like a dead weight. 2 more. In breath slow, out breath controlled. 1 more. Feel that nice crunch into your waist. There it is. And resting. I think we can come down and do some work on the floor. Alright, ladies and gents. Your bum weights and some hip bridges. I'm going to hit the triceps again. So hip bridges are good for all the muscles through our posterior chain, our calves, our hamstrings, our glutes, our upper back and our shoulders. All those muscles we need to keep us nice and upright. So with the weight in your right hand, heels close towards your bum and your shoulder away from your ear first. So when you've got your weight here, the elbows at 90 degrees and your knuckles are pointing up to the ceiling. 1 press, 1 tricep extension. So keep the chin nodded in, roll up through the spine, press down to your shoulders. Take your tricep press, chin stays nodded in, and you bring your elbow back by the ribs. So you're rolling up through each vertebrae. Try not to let the head tilt back. And as you roll down, try and keep the chin nodded in. The next thing I want you to check on is your knees. So knees directly in line with the hips. And as you lower into your tricep press, don't let the hips sink. So squeeze the bottom and keep the hips up. Then your tricep press with the chin in, easing down. Now you can lift both heels with your tricep press. You've got to work twice as hard, not to let the bottom drop as you lift your heels. And again, control it down. No rush. Breathe out through the mouth. Breathe in, out with the lift, and the soft breath in as you release. And feel mobility coming through the spine as you roll up and down. And then you want to feel the strength and stability through your glutes and your shoulders. So press the shoulders down into the ground. 2 more here. Not to mention feeling the back of the arm. Keep the upper arm still. Let the weight go towards the top of the shoulder. And then resist. Nice controlled resist. Double heel raise. And then ease down slowly. Take the weight into both hands, reset your shoulders, bring up the knees just above the hips, so knees are at 90 degrees, and from here extend the arms. Settle the shoulders into the ground. If you can, double leg extension just to this V-shaped position, and then come back into centre. Brace your core,
Keep the lower back down to the ground, a little hold, and then a reset. Now if you feel the lower back's lifting, you can work on just moving one leg, then coming back into the centre, then the other leg. All you need to find is that bite in your belly, where you feel that your abdominals are working to hold that lower back in a soft imprint on the ground. If the back's lifted, so as your back lifts, the tummy muscles lengthen and your back muscles contract. So it's not about trying to go low. As much as you're moving the arms and the legs, you're focused on holding the ribs and the hips towards each other. Just holding for a second, so they're working to keep the spine in imprint, and then soften it back to centre. Breathing in as you open, breathe out as you close. Twice more, in through the nose, out through the mouth, and your last one. Then we're going to come back to the hip bridges. So feet close, weight on your left hand this time. So bring the elbow into 90 degrees, your knuckles to the ceiling, and set your shoulders well away from your ears. Once the knees are in line with the hips and the heels are close, roll through the spine. Squeeze the bottom, add in your tricep press. Bring the elbow all the way back to the ribs. Breathing out in the push-up, taking a breath in, out, and into release. Just like we're doing Pilates, just trying to move through each individual vertebrae. So it allows the muscles between each vertebrae not only to work, but to stretch a little too, which then in time will allow a little bit more freedom, a little bit more mobility through the spine. So don't rush, enjoy that feeling through the spine. Control it down. If you want to make your calves work and your glutes work harder, at the top, squeeze the bottom strong, lift both heels, place both heels down, and then roll back through the spine. Now when you lift the heels, check the knees don't roll out. So glance at your knees and check you're keeping your knees in line with your hips as you lift the heels. Sometimes you'll feel the outer thighs try and stabilise by pulling these out. So it's important to make the inner thighs work to stop the outer thighs pulling the knees away. So it's all about maintaining that alignment and that equal balance and stability with the inner and outer thighs. And just notice the head isn't tilted back. Keep the chin slightly nodded in. 2 more here. Breathing as the weight lowers. Out as you extend. Soft breath in and release. And once more. And controlling it all the way down. And take your weight above your chest again. Shoulders away from your ears. And your knees back up above your hips. Now all I want you to do here is keep your weight still. So press the shoulders down. We're going to do knee rolls. Keeping the knees hip distance apart. Keeping the weight still. You roll onto your right hip. And then back into the centre. Then your left hip. Press down to the backs of the shoulders. Try not to let the knees change the distance. Think about rolling with your pelvis, rolling onto your right hip. Bringing the knees back into centre. And then rolling with your left hip. And breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And moving slowly so you can really focus. I've gone from keeping that weight still by pressing your shoulders down to the ground. And hopefully then you can either add in a double leg extension or stay with the knees at 90 degrees. If that weight starts to move, make the movement small with the legs. So the rotation, connections coming through your waist. Breathing out as you extend. Breath into centre. Out and push your way through the toes. Still feeling the shoulder retracting, pressing down firmly into the ground. Or once more to your left. Nearly went. And then coming all the way down. So much harder than it looks. Right, from here, I'm going to come into a little crunch, feet a little further away, weight in front of your breastbone. Now when you've got hold of your weight, open the elbows and roll your shoulders back. Keep the chin in. You're going to come into a crunch, push the outside of your thigh and then pull it back to your chest as you lower down. Then over to your left thigh and then ease down with control. Now for any reason you find it difficult with the weight or difficult on the neck, you can always put the weight down and just reach the opposite hand towards the outside of the knee. And one hand can gently support the weight of the head. Again, be aware that you're not pulling your head forward with the hand, you're just supporting the neck. So you can just let the head sit into the hand, and each time you come forward, try and really focus on pulling the ribs down and across the opposite hip. Now we're going to add a knee lift. So your knee lifts just to 90 degrees, down to an eggshell, breathing out as you reach across and back towards your chest. Knee just comes above the hip. Keep using the upper abdominals to squeeze the ribs towards the hips. 2 more on each side if you can. Without the weight if needed. Last one on each side. Control. And rest. Have a roll onto your side. We're going to come into a clamp position, and today you have choices. You've always got choices, but today you've got an extra choice. So knees are stacked. You can lie down. You can bring your elbow in right underneath your shoulder. It's a little close to your body than you think. And then pushing the elbow into the floor and just lifting up through your waist here. So we're getting our obliques to work to hold our neutral spine. Feet are together, and we're just going to come into our clamp from here, lifting and lowering. Any point you want to lie down and take the work out the shoulder, that's fine. But just be aware you're not collapsing into your shoulder. Push the elbow into the floor and lift your ribs at the same time. So we've got a really strong set position here through our shoulder. As you're lifting the knee, just making sure the hips don't roll back. Breathing out with each lift. And twice more. So you can feel how the knees slightly rotating towards the back of the room. This time we lift the whole leg up to the ceiling, not to the back. So your foot lifts level with your knee and down. It's not a very big lift, doesn't need to be. You need to keep lifting the ribs, pressing down to the elbow to help stabilise the shoulder. Breathing out with each lift, soft breath in, out on the way up, into release. 5, no rush, 4, control it down, don't let the weight push the knee down, resist it coming down slowly, and once more, and then resting the leg fully down. Have a lie down now, you've earned it. Arm up above your shoulder, shoulder away from your ear, and then extend out with both legs. Double leg lift, lock the shoulder back, and lift both legs. Now if you want to add on, you bring the arm forward as your legs lift. And if it feels difficult with the weight, just do it without the weight. But do notice the hand or the weight stays around your mid-chest. It's not coming up in front of your face. So if it's without the weight, again, hand just to level with the breastbone, pulling the shoulder blade back. Breathing out as you press down, soft breath in as you release. Shoulders still gently drawn down into the back of the rib cage. And your elbow stays soft, so it's just relaxed and you've not got the arm locked out. Hard to balance. 3 to go. 2. And then your last one. Hold in at the top. Lift your top leg. From here, heel back to the bottom with a little tricep press. And in this position, it just gets a slightly different part of our triceps. And with the heel moving towards the bottom, starts to bring in some work into our hamstrings. Now just squeeze the bottom and gently keep the hips just slightly thrust forward so the hips don't roll back as your heel moves back. Bracing your core a little to help with the balance. Try and strengthen your bottom leg, make it straight, squeeze the thigh. That challenges your balance. And once more. Breathing in, out, and come down. Release your shoulder. Just circle the arm back, palm to ceiling. So let the hand turn to the ceiling here. Roll the shoulder blade back and just let the front of the shoulder and the chest release. That's a nice move. And then let's do it all again on the other side. So again, option as we come to the other side, to lie down, be comfortable, or just working on a little bit of shoulder stability. Now the shoulders only be able to stabilise properly if the shoulder joints are aligned. So if the elbow's here, now try and lift, there's nothing here to stabilise that shoulder. So we need to bring the elbow directly beneath the shoulder. Knees are forward, push the elbow into the floor and feel like you're really lifting up through your ribs so it's going to get your obliques working, you're pulling the waist up. Weight on or off your thighs. Then just roll your top shoulder back. Bring a little squeeze between both shoulder blades. Now without moving or losing those connections through the upper back, just start with your clamp. Breathing in as the knee lowers, breathing out to rise. And just aware that you're not wobbling or rocking through the shoulder. Push the floor away from your elbow. And feeling you're lifting your armpit gently up away from the ground. You're breathing out as you lift the knee. And a soft breath in as you ease. Again, at any point you can bring that arm down and lie down if you need to. Sometimes just working on that shoulder bit stability, just holding ourselves here. Good for all the deeper muscles around our shoulders. Now, that's the rotation. Now just the out thigh, lift the leg, lower it down. So you're not pushing towards the back of the room, you're pushing the out thigh up towards the ceiling. Again, making sure you're not rocking through the shoulder. Breathing out with each lift. And as you lift your leg, don't drop down with your waist. Pull the waist up and then try and hold the waist up as you're lifting your knee. It won't move as far because then we're not getting any movement through the spine. It's all in that hip. 3. We're definitely working the hip for 2. And your last one. Then we can take the shoulder down. Extend the underneath arm when you're ready. Extend both legs. And take the weights into your top hand. So shoulder is going to want to hug your ear. So give your ear a little bit of space by pulling the shoulder blade down. So the hand you can see is by the side of the rib cage rather than over the shoulder or the head. When you're ready, squeeze your thighs, take a breath in, breathe out for your double leg lift. Breath in as you ease down. If and when you find your balance, you can add in the arm. So with a soft elbow, the arm comes forward and then drawing back. Try not to press the button to cut myself off. Breathe in through the nose and then breathe out through the mouth. Go on. And if you're really wobbly like me today, you can always just work with one leg. It's still going to make you work hard with your obliques. Again, check the weights in line with your mid-chest, not your shoulder, not your face. Keep looking forward so you're lengthening the neck. And just gently pin your shoulder blade into the back of the ribs. And as the arm comes forward, try and maintain that feeling of keeping your shoulder blade pinned in towards the rib cage. Notice that bend, that softness in the elbow, no tension in that elbow joint. 2 more. Breathing in slow, breathing out strong. Your last one, and hold. Top leg lifts. Shoulder again, away from the ear. Hamstring curl and a tricep extension. So your weight comes towards your earlobe, but your elbow stays almost reaching up to the ceiling as your arm lowers. Now give the bottom a squeeze so you're keeping the hips stacked and forwards. Breathe in as you ease down, add on that extension. Feel the shoulder blade still tucked into the spine. And as you're moving your arm, you're trying not to let your shoulder blade move. So move as slowly as you need to, really feeling that shoulder blade pinned into the back of the rib cage. For your last 2. Then your last one. And rest. Bring it down when you're ready. Oh, just enough time for a quick stretch. Come face down. Hands by your ribs, elbows in. When you're ready, just peel your chest a little, roll the shoulders back. If it feels okay, give your bottom a squeeze, and you can lift your ribs a little higher. But don't let the shoulders drift forward, pull the shoulder blades together, and then draw them down to the back of the ribs as you lift up your chest. When you're ready, lift the hips, and then pull your hips back to your heels to take your back into the opposite position. A nice flexion through the spine. If you can, the forearms, maybe the forehead, even rest on the ground. Maybe try and walk your fingertips just that little bit further forwards. When you've got the arms as straight as you can, press your fingertips down into the floor. Try and gently pull yourself forward with your fingertips. And then when you're ready, come back into centre. Walk the hands back, bring the knees under the hips. Let's have a calf stretch while we're here. Shoulders and hips square to the floor. Straighten out your right leg, so you're on the ball of your foot, and then push your heel back towards the floor. Now check your foot hasn't turned out and your hips haven't turned out. So square the pelvis, turn the toes towards the fingers, and you press back into your heels. Now push your hands into the floor as if you're pushing yourself away from the ground, and see if you can slightly lift your ribs just a fraction further away from your hips. And that in itself helps to increase the stretch into your calf. Much needed. And let's change legs. So bring your knee in, just beneath your hip. Take your left leg back, ball of your foot. So your legs just straight first, you're pulling up the knee, then you're pressing back into your heel. Push the hands into the ground. A little lift through your chest. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, so you can push the hands further into the floor. Maybe lifting your chest, just gently pushing your chest forward. That feels rather nice. Okay, from there, just bringing your knees in underneath your hips. Tuck your toes when you're ready. Lift your knees. Try and walk the hands back, or maybe the feet forward, whichever works best. And again, as I keep saying, it's always good to learn a good movement pattern to come up from the floor, where you feel comfortable doing that. Weight into your heels, tucking in the chin, relaxing the neck and shoulders. Take a big breath in, and when you're ready, start to restack your spine. Those hip bridges work nicely. No clicks or crunches as we rose. Some circles through the arms when you get to the top, so just open up the shoulders. Pulling the elbows down towards the ribs. Breathe in as you lift the arms and out to release them. And a shrug of your shoulders to finish off. Pull them up, let them drop heavy. And again, a pull and a drop. And well worked, ladies and gents. Well done. Cup of tea now.